precious time. I only got so much footage open on my fucking phone. We're gonna try to squeeze this in. How's everybody doing? Nope. I don't own the rights to that music. But the lady I'm gonna cover today does. So how we doing? Episode 22 here of We Still Got More Rockin' to Do, bitch. Real quick theme song. We still got more rockin' to do, bitch. All right, we're gonna get right into it. So how's everybody doing? We're back at the Pearl Theater at the Palms here in Vegas. Pat Benatar / Neil Giraldo is what they call it nowadays. They just don't call it Pat Benatar. So, and this show happened the 29th of September this year, so just a few days ago, last Friday. So we, like I said, episode 22, Palms. The theater holds about 2,100 capacity, and there was every bit of over 22,000 there. I wouldn't say a full house, but almost. And they get up to 2,500 in there when they don't have the chairs set out in the bottom, when they just open up for floor space, but they had the chairs out. First guy out there, he brought his guitar and himself, that was it. Acoustic guitar, his guy's name was Chris Trapper. Sorry, I can't talk this morning, goddamn. And it was cool though. He had some funny stuff that he would say in between songs. Yeah, he plays in a band called the Push Stars. A couple songs I liked that he did. One was called This Time, and another one that was called Fuck It. I thought that was the best song of the night from him. So, but he was cool. He's wrote songs for other people. He's wrote melodies for different movies and shit that are famous. So he's been around for a while. You may not have heard of him. He was cool. He did his thing. He got out the stage. And, of course, Pat and Neil and the band is up on the stage. So, Pat Benatar released her first album late August in 1979. So they're kind of doing like a 44-year anniversary kind of thing. Just past the 44th anniversary of the first album released. And then they're also, Neil and her have been married for 41 years. He was a guitarist for her band when it was just Pat Benatar. And now that they're away from the record company, they go as Pat Benatar / Neil Giraldo. So, like I said, we're going to get right into this. First song she comes out, it's an old cover band by a band called Rattling Sabres called All Fired Up. This was kind of like a comeback song for her in the late 80s. Because she was big in the early and mid 80s. She went away for like a couple years where we didn't really hear much out of her, and then she comes out with that album, and the first song was All Fired Up, and it was a pretty good hit for her in the radio line and stuff. Then she plays another one of her kind of a little more underground, but a real famous tune by her, if you know a lot of Pat Benatar, called Sex as a Weapon. All right. Third song is We Live for Love, and that's where she gets really high on her vocals. Like, we live, and she gets really hit. So some people will be like, oh, okay, I remember that now. Yeah, you mentioned it like that. And then one of the first real emotional songs that her and Neil wrote together back in the day is song number 4, Promises in the Dark. Good tune and stuff. I mean, her vocals is still awesome. He still can tear it up on the guitar. The band is tight. Great show. Real good song. Fifth song was called Girl. Then they do another cover, but it was big for her back in the 80s, called We Belong. So that was a big song for her. Another song, it was from a movie, I think, like that Billie Jean movie. I can't remember the title of it and shit. But the song is called Invincible. If you find the song, I'm sure you can figure out what movie I'm trying to talk about. Like I said, this ain't a movie review show. That's why I didn't check into what movie it is. But I always think of like a short-haired blonde-haired girl that's running away in the movie. And I just can't remember the whole thing. But anyway, let's move on. Then she does Shadows of the Night, another cover band tune by Helen Schneider. And then she does one of her famous tunes that she wrote called Hell is for Children. And the guitars are really good in that tune, and it's a song about child abuse, man. Like, and you gotta really listen to the words. And that song, you know, it's like you're listening when you're like, damn, you know, there's a lot of just crazy shit that happens in this world. And we gotta stop treating our kids like that. But now we treat our kids differently. I won't even get into that stuff. And then the song number 10, it's called You Better Run. In which a really good significant fact about this song right here, for one, it's a Rascals cover, which I didn't know. I always thought it was a Pat Benatar original, but it's a Rascals cover. But this was the second video played on MTV's existence. If some of you don't know, the first video was, I can't remember the band name, but the first video MTV played was called Video Killed the Radio Star. True story. Very second video, Pat Benatar, You Better Run, which is huge, because when you think about that, she was a rocker lady in the early 80s, and her video was second played on MTV, you know what I mean? Like, because rocker ladies were still one of those things where, like, they weren't fully accepted yet. Because there was only a few at that time in the early 80s like that in 81. So, you know what I mean? So that was a big deal for her to have her video not only played, but second played of all. Like the second video that MTV ever played was hers. That's kind of a big deal, I think. So I wanted to mention that. And then, of course, the last song of the set she's going to do is called Love is a Battlefield. You know, a lot of people know that song. If you don't know Pat Benatar, if you know Pat Benatar, you know Love is a Battlefield. And, but she did skip a song that she's been playing in all these other cities. And less like Nickelback, I got to hit you on this real quick, Pat. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to hit a woman, but I got to hit you on this. You skipped Dirty Little Secrets, hun. And that's... You don't come to Vegas and skip songs. You come to Vegas and you add songs. You add songs. Like Godsmack did. Like Godsmack. Godsmack, you did it. You added. You didn't take away when you came to Vegas because you realized, hey, we're going to fucking Vegas. You either bring it or just stay the fuck home. So it was a great show, but don't skip songs, Pat, please. If it was an accidental thing, all right. Add another song next year. In fact, one on my wish list for next year. But she did do an encore. She did the Beatles' Helter Skelter, which she recorded that back in the day as well. Beatles cover. And then she does a song called Everybody Lay Down. And of course, she does the one that started it all for her, Heartbreaker. But then she does Heartbreaker, about 3/4 of it. And then she goes into doing Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, the whole entire song. And then they come back with that last verse in Heartbreaker. You know where it comes back in? You're the right kind of sinner. Right. When it comes back into that, that's when they come back in after the Johnny Cash tune. So you get like Heartbreaker, Ring of Fire, and then the end of Heartbreaker to finish the show. So that's pretty much all I got. Real basic, simple set this week. Nothing crazy. I got a lot of concerts coming up. My wish list, though, would have been, if she could have played Fire and Ice. Hit Me With Your Best Shot she didn't do, which I understand she doesn't do anymore because of all the shootings and shit we got going on and different things like that, even though it has nothing to do with shootings. The song Precious Time, which is what I came in on, she should have played that. I know it's probably really emotional for her and Neil, but you're married for 41 years. Get over it. And the song Treat Me Right, which wasn't like a huge commercially famous tune, but it's a good rock tune, man. It's just a good Pat Benatar rock tune. Treat Me Right. So that's all I got for this week. Hopefully I got it in within the time left in my phone storage. I gotta get rid of some videos and shit that I've been taking at concerts and shit. Open up open up some space. And just remember, man, love you all. Keep liking and subscribing. I got a lot of stuff going on personally, so we're trying to get through these next few weeks, see how things are panning out. I will talk to y'all later. Be good to each other. Remember, we've still got a lot more rocking to do, bitch. And remember, night-night. Keep the ball tight.